Whether you're new to the Sound Shore or have called it home for years, Sound Shore Family Guide is here for you. We bring you insider tips on schools, sports, local happenings, and parenting in our amazing community. Let's navigate family life in Larchmont and Mamaroneck together.
Hi, thank you for tuning in to the Sound Shore Family Guide. And here we're filming at LMC Media Studio on the Avenue. And today we have a wonderful Rye Neck mom, Jaime Santa. And so here we are.
Hi.
Jaime, hi, welcome to the Sound Shore Family Guide.
Thank you.
Thank you for being here.
Happy to be here.
Good. Jaime, let me ask you, where did you move from before you landed here in Rye Neck?
Sure. My husband and I lived in Brooklyn for about 10 years before. When we had our second son, we have 3 sons now, but when we had our second son, we moved to White Plains, and then soon after became pregnant with our third son and moved to Rye.
Okay. Although you call it Rye, it's just Rye Neck is a little area in between Rye and Mamaroneck.
Right.
The beauty of it is also that you can kind of choose what sports activities you want to participate in, right? You have options of participating in both
We
districts.
feel like Rye Neck is this little hidden gem kind of in the community. So we live in the Rye section. Some people live in the Mamaroneck section, and we can choose both Rye sports or Mamaroneck activities, and the school itself is kind of right in the middle.
Mm-hmm. And you are very busy taking care of your 3 children.
Yep. I have a 6th grade son, a 9th grade son, and an 11th grade son. We've been in the Rye Neck community since my oldest was in kindergarten. So we've gotten to experience Daniel Warren, the small kindergarten through 2nd grade school, Effie Bellows, the 3rd through 5th grade school. Now I have 1 son at the middle school and 2 sons in the high school.
Oh, soon you'll eventually have them together or not.
Well, the middle school and high school are in the same campus, the same building. It's a little L-shaped building, so they are now all on the same campus, less than 1 mile from my house, so they all get themselves to and from school by themselves every day, which
they
is
walk
nice. They
or
walk,
ride their
the bike.
bikes.
My oldest did just get his license, so he now drives, but that's been helpful too, because he drives the other one sometimes if they're, getting along that day.
Right, exactly. Right, take it day by day.
Yes.
And so what activities would you say they participated in, and if there's any kind of insights to what life is like?
We've been super involved since day one. All of them are involved in sports. My youngest son is in 6th grade, so modified sports start at Rye Neck at 7th grade. So he does town sports, basketball, baseball, flag football. My middle son is on the cross-country team at Rye Neck. He does something called mock trial, which is an after-school club that the school offers, and they learn how the court system works. Sometimes lawyers come in and teach them. They go to the courthouse in White Plains and do trials. It's a competition against other schools. My oldest...
Is that also called like debate or...
I do, yeah. It's similar to a debate. It's like a school team.
Mm-hmm.
My oldest son is a 3-season running athlete at Rye Neck, so he does cross-country, winter track, and spring track. He's also the treasurer of the junior class, and the junior class plans the proms and gets it all set up for the junior-senior prom. So he's really involved in that right now, because that's coming up soon in a couple of weeks. So Rye Neck is so small, so they do the junior-senior prom together, which is nice.
It is nice.
It's really
That's how it was when I was growing up in Louisville, Kentucky. We did it together as well, because we're so small.
Yep.
And what other, so the school activities that they participate in, do you feel like because you're in Rye Neck, it's a little bit smaller, that they have an easier time getting on the teams? Do you feel like there's an advantage to that?
It could go both ways. There's an advantage and a disadvantage. We haven't had any problems getting on the teams, and if you do have a problem getting on a team, they always offer there's other sports that don't make any cuts. There's always an opportunity for something. One son did not make a team and was offered a position of staying on and helping to be the manager or planning something like that. He chose not to go that route and decided to do winter track instead so that he could be on another team. He thought that was going to be more fun for him. He didn't. So there's so many great club options. The school has a wonderful theater program, which is a family in and of itself. My sons are not artistically talented in that way, but have helped on the stage crew and the behind-the-scenes part of that. There's wonderful community service opportunities at the school, within the school every day. If there's something going on in the evening, they ask the kids to help out, to stick around, and they give them community service hours for being an usher or leading people around and that sort of thing, welcoming people to whatever event is going on that day. So that's been nice.
Speaking of things, so you also just started something that I have to say kudos to you because I'm very proud of you.
Thank you. About a year ago, 4 women and I started the Rye Neck School Foundation. I'm now the vice president. It's been a great success so far. It's a long and slow process to get something like this off the ground, but our goal is to raise money for the district for things that the budget cannot afford. And it's been wonderful to get collaboration with the other parents of Rye Neck and the administrators. If somebody has an idea, we're able to fund it pretty quickly. The PTSA in Rye Neck is wonderful, but they have a lot of rules and regulations so sometimes they have trouble. They have to have equality amongst the schools. They couldn't, and we don't have those guidelines. So it's been really interesting to see the things that we can fund. Have
you funded something yet, or you're still raising money?
We've funded 9 grants so far.
Wow.
Yeah. We've funded a school store for the 5th grade. A teacher came up with the idea to have a little school store as an incentive. So Effie Bellows is 3rd, 4th, and 5th grade, and the 5th graders run the store. They learn about how to be entrepreneurs. They learn about merchandising. You have to order your, Valentine treats in October. You have to time the store, plan ahead. So they learn these great things. They advertise throughout the day, and then the 3rd and 4th graders earn incentives in their classroom to get tickets or money that they can then spend at the school store. So that was a really neat one.
That is a neat one.
We funded a grant for a new garden. We bought raised beds for this new garden space, also at Effie Bellows. And each class gets half of a plot of the raised bed, and they're going to incorporate it into the curriculum this spring. They just built the beds and put the soil down, and parents can get involved and help out in the classrooms, which is always nice for such a small district. Parents like to come into the classroom, and I feel like that is one of Rye Neck's really wonderful things. There are opportunities to see your kids in action and to see what they're doing is really great.
And I know that you have one child that has a 504. You said the district has been incredibly generous.
Yeah, this started with my son was in kindergarten, and they have been so positive from day one. There is no pushback on the things that we need. They say yes, and they are supportive every step of the way. His needs have changed and evolved and lessened over the years, and they don't ever ask to get rid of anything he might need. They just say yes. And I have found from friends that a lot of people feel the same way. Our experience has been very positive.
That's really wonderful to hear. I mean, that's what you need, support.
That's what you need.
And then, and I was also asking because you have a son that might need 504, but then also, what is it if you have children who are incredibly intelligent and exceptional and gifted? Yeah. So what kind of opportunities are there?
I feel like Rye Neck, we talk about this a lot in my family. We say Rye Neck is this little hidden gem. It's kind of like a private school in this community because it's small. About 1,000 students in the whole, or 1,200 students in the whole school, you get this really hands-on learning experience. The school offers plenty of AP courses on the high school level. I think even down to the kindergarten and the younger schools level, one of my sons always wanted to do more in math. And I remember in 2nd grade, his teacher was like, he just keeps asking me to learn long division. And but somebody would always take the time and pull him aside and give him that, it wasn't necessarily enrichment, but it was because it's such a small district, you're just given these amazing opportunities every step of the way, whether it's a kindergartner wanting to learn, higher math, or if it's really an art teacher that wants to go above and beyond and teach the one student that wants to learn something specific. They have the ability to do that at Rye Neck. It really is great.
Can't say that about all the other public schools, that's for sure.
We have only been in Rye Neck. We've been here since my oldest was in kindergarten, and I feel we are like so lucky that we just hit the jackpot, that when we moved here, we really feel special about it.
Well, that's wonderful to hear.
Yeah.
So thank you very much, Jamie. I appreciate it. For all you out there that are watching or listening, make sure that you stick around, because when we come back, Jamie's going to tell us a little tip about Rye Neck or Mamaroneck or Rye that you only get to hear here. Hi, Mike and Tara. Thank you so much for being here this morning at the LMC Media Studio for the Sound Shore Family Guide. You're both coming here representing the lower and elementary schools for the Rye Neck School District. Thank you.
Thanks for having us.
Yes, thank you.
So yeah, I'm Tara Goldberg. I'm the principal of the Daniel Warren School, which is our K-2 building in Rye Neck. And I think that's one of the special features of our district is that we have a dedicated building to our youngest learners, the kindergarten through second grade. And then they move up to FE Bellows, where they grow that independence in the 3 to 5 building with Mr. Scarantino.
Yes, and it's they do such a nice job down in the K-2 school of building them, getting them prepared for that gradual release of responsibility in our grade level. So it's a really nice touch to have that Princeton model, that K-2 building, and then that 3, 4, 5 building, because it really helps us focus in on their needs at the age levels that they're at.
Yeah, so if you were to walk into Daniel Warren, it looks like a school for young learners. We walk right in. There's this beautiful fish tank that welcomes you, our library. Who you'll get to meet Miss Kowalchick. She's going to be another feature you're going to have on our enrichment program in the district. But in Daniel Warren, we have favorable class size. That's one of the features of our district too.
Which is how many?
So it does range on the year, but this year our class size in kindergarten is really low. It's like 17 students in a class, but I would say it ranges up to 21, 22 max in probably all of our elementary classes. So definitely favorable class sizes. And it's a place, like if you walk into Daniel Warren, besides the classrooms, like into the hallways, there's just joy, there's a lot of wonder, there's, students skipping down the hallway. If you've ever driven by our building, it's this beautiful 1930s sort of castle-like, it's just gorgeous. But then inside, there's a lot of hands-on learning. There's students asking questions. There's our second graders being reporters, doing similar as us this morning, interviewing. This morning we were interviewing the tortoise that lives in our library, who's come back after a few years since COVID, who apparently has been traveling the world because we're studying architecture right now. So in the Wonder Studio, which is one of our enrichment programs, we have pictures of Fireball the tortoise, who's been at the Colosseum, at the Mayan ruins. He's been going around the world while kids investigate where he was traveling to based on the architecture. Beautiful. So that's just a fun example of the ways that when you come into Daniel Warren, outside of the classroom where we're helping students learn how to read so that when they get to Mike, they can read to learn. But they're also doing it in really fun, playful ways. Yeah.
I think one of the great things about Rye Neck and the schools themselves is the way that our school organizations really help to make things like even just our example about the tortoise traveling the world or any sort of out of classroom experience that happens come to life. And so we're lucky to have 2, 3 organizations that really do those great things. Great example, we just completed an initiative called One Book, One Bellows, where our entire school read the book Fish in a Tree by Linda Mullally Hunt. And all of the teachers, past, present, recorded chapters of the book for students to be able to read along with the book nightly, which was really nice. Ms. Goldberg read a chapter. Dr. Latinsky read a chapter. Kids got excited. Mr. Pinto read a chapter, who they might have had for first or second grade. And just like the ability to be as small as we are and then be able to continue those connections across things. But we weren't able to purchase all of the books without the help of grants from our school foundation. And our PTSA is actually bringing in today. We have a virtual author visit with Linda, the author. So all of those unique touches that happen are really what makes Rye Neck so special because we're able to reach out and say to someone, hey, we know a parent who was a publisher. Can you help us get the author in? Because it would just make whatever we've just done so much more special in the schools. And like Tara had mentioned earlier, having our enrichment coordinator come in and talk is going to be really fantastic because we don't only just cover, arithmetic, reading, writing, and science and social studies in our classrooms. We really try to bring out the joy and the wonder and the inquisitiveness of students in the buildings. And I think Tara, I'll visit sometimes to come over, see second graders, or just pick her up for a meeting, and you can see like they're just running around like so inquisitive, so excited about being in school, skipping, hopping, and it's a joyful place.
It's a happy place.
And then for them to come over to us and know that we just carry that over in the same way, but we're also saying, hey, getting a little bit older, a little more responsible.
Ask. I mean, I remember like when my daughter was in second grade, and then they started this like new math system and everything else, and like kind of teaching towards the tests and stuff. Like, do you feel like that's also a big part of how your teachers are teaching, or you still feel like there's a lot of wonder and creativity? And
I think if you do good teaching, they're prepared and they'll do well on what you put in front of them. I mean, certainly. State exams, for example, are stressful, but they're there, they exist. There's not a way around them at this point.
Exactly.
But at the same time, those tests are asking them to respond to a passage. They're asking them, to indicate the best answer or write about their reading. And I think those are life skills. So we take that energy and, we might need to show them what a test looks like, so they're not going in feeling unprepared, but really the work is the teaching. It's the more authentic learning that'll help transfer to those situations.
Right.
I think that's more of our philosophy.
Agreed. We try to keep a balance because we do know, you can't ask a student to take an exam without seeing some of it or having some exposure to it. We take a great pride in the idea that we don't, get kids in this like test prep manner prepared for exams. I think it's also a thing that parents appreciate about our schools, and that we just keep things moving along in a very balanced approach.
Okay. Well, it does sound like a really wonderful school. And I think it's very special that Rye Neck happens to be between Rye and Mamaroneck. I know that's not the reason why it's called that. We got to do some more research about that. But that is where it is. And if they want to reach out, learn more, see your schools, what's the best way to get in touch with you?
So if they go to our website or just reach out to our main office, call. We're happy to give tours. We, certainly we're the school that welcomes new families in, so we're built for that. But we definitely offer families who are thinking about moving into the district or those that already live and they have a child who's approaching being school age. We're happy to give a tour and share more with families.
And what is your website?
So if they just go to Rye Neck.
Okay.
Yeah.
Easy enough.
Yeah. They just Google Rye Neck. They'll see our website, and I think it's just basically ryeneck.org.
Okay.
Yeah. Simple. And you'll see the 4 schools, the Daniel Warren, Effie Bellows, the middle school, high school, but the principals were all on there.
Well, I've only heard the most amazing things, so whatever you're doing, keep doing it.
Thank you.
So thank you so much for being here. We really appreciate it. Thank you.
My pleasure.
Melinda and Jason, thank you so much for being here today for the Sound Shore Family Guide at the LMC studio. You're both principals at the Rye Neck High School and Middle School, so we would love to know more about your programs and the school itself.
Oh, thank you for having us.
Of course.
Thank you so much for having us.
My pleasure.
You want to start off?
Sure, I guess I'll start off.
You go first.
They start off in middle school before they go to high school, right?
There you go.
So my name is Jason Doerr. I'm the principal of Rye Neck Middle School. This is my first year there, and it's been a really exciting year. And I find a lot of what's really been going on this year really stems and relates back to our strategic plan that we've been implementing district-wide, right? And we spent a lot of time this year going through our strategic plan, which is all about things like strengthening problem-solving ability in students and their questioning ability, focusing on social emotional wellness of our students and staff members, and then also working on professional learning throughout the district, and how we've done a lot this year to kind of address those issues and those needs related to our strategic plan. So we started the year off with a lot of training around the QFT question formulation technique. Melinda, you want to talk a little bit about that? Since it's your...
It's just an inquiry-based sort of technique that you can use in your class to get kids thinking more critically about a topic, about not so much, what kind of information might a teacher deliver about a topic, but what might a student want to know about that topic. So, and we can use it across curriculum areas. We see it used in English and social studies and science and math and art and just about everywhere throughout the curriculum.
And so that's been really great, and their teachers have been using that in their classrooms. Social emotional wellness, we've been doing a lot of work around assessing our students, and we developed and implemented a social emotional screener to see our students around the district and their emotional wellness, for lack of a better term.
And a lot of these, this big initiative, the strategic plan, the shape it takes in the lives of our kids is really important, because what we end up working with are kids who are, enormously self-advocating and conscious of, the do's and don'ts of mental health. Obviously, everybody's got bad days and good and things like that. But
do you also have counselors on staff that people can come and take time out during their day if they feel like they're a little overwhelmed?
Oh, absolutely. In both the middle and high school, we have counselors, we have school psychologists, we have social workers, we have, and we, because we're such a small school, I think relationships are really foundational to the success of the kids. So I think kids, come to see, Jason or myself or the assistant principal, Michael, or their teachers or their former coaches or their, relationships really kind of make the school work, I think.
Yeah, and I think it is such a tight-knit community where students form relationships with a variety of different staff members, right? And the communication is really great. So if a concern does arise with a student, everyone's kind of forthcoming with information to try to find the best way to help that student and make sure that they get what they need.
Yeah. And our students really are leaders. Like, I'm thinking about other things in addition to the sensory friendly production, but we have clubs in the high school that really look to teach students in the middle school. So was it last week or the week before we had binary bingo, where the coding club, the high school club, puts on this afternoon event. Binary bingo that kind of teaches middle school kids the rudiments of coding, but also introduces them to this fun game, and they get prizes and all that kind of stuff. We had over 100 middle school kids attend that this year.
So again, like, clubs are student driven, and they have the idea of emerging with the middle school. I mean, you have a lot of that. High school kind of also with the lower school.
Absolutely. The environmental club spoke to Effie Bellows and spoke to them about being kind to your environment, and they watched a movie together. I can't remember what the name of the movie was off the top of my head, and I apologize for that. But yeah, we do have even the students think about, like, the benefits of what they've gained over the years of these, close-knit relationships that they've had, and then seek to pass it on,
And we are a shared building, right? So a lot of the decisions that we make in collaboration with one another to ensure we're doing what's best for all of our students in grades 6 through 12. And I know one thing that both Melinda and I tried to really implement this year was increasing student voice in the school, right? And so trying to leverage, what the students think about a lot of things. And I know that both at myself at the middle school level and Melinda as well created like student advisory groups where we meet with on an ongoing basis and kind of get their feedback about the things that we're trying to do school-wide. We use them to kind of run ideas by to try to implement and help promote their voice in the school and what goes on.
Let me ask you, critical thinking, I think, is so important, something that's, like, in a way lost because I think there's so much student testing going on. And do you feel like your kids are very prepared also? I mean, it sounds like it's very, like, I'm not saying kumbaya, but you have a lot of student-driven, a lot of fun, and a lot of great ways of teaching. But what about testing? Like,
well, I would
you
think
have
that
to kind of teach to the testing in a way.
Well,
that's the way things are these days.
Good critical thinkers take tests well. These are, not all of them get 100%, let's say, but if they can develop the, sort of the process of, good critical thinking habits, then, they know the material, so it's not like, cram all night kind of thing, right?
Yeah. No,
I would say, yeah.
I think we do. The tests are there, right, to assess student performance.
And you have to have them.
And you do have to have them. But I think we take a similar stance where we make sure that the content is taught in the classroom, where kids are struggling and need some extra assistance. We get that for them because that's really important to address their needs. So it's not necessarily teaching towards the test. It's really assessing as we go along, seeing what they need, and help close those gaps whenever necessary.
So obviously people go to your school if they live in the district, but if they do want to reach out, speak to you, get a little bit more information, how do they do that?
Well, they can certainly contact any one of the offices, the middle school, high school office, any one of the elementary school offices. And I mean, we give tours, to people.
RyeNeck.org or something. I mean, how involved are parents in your community?
Enormously. I mean, obviously, this kind of undertaking doesn't happen without supportive parents, without staff that's willing to, give of themselves, and without kids who are, willing to take risks.
Sure.
So it's like all the stakeholders have to work together, and I think we're really fortunate because we have a good formula and we work on it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It takes a village, doesn't it?
It does, absolutely.
Turns out.
It does. All right. Well, thank you both so much for being here and for sharing all the little goods and what you have going on at Rye Neck.
Thank you.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you. Leanne, thank you so much for being here today at the LMC Media for the Sound Shore Family Guide.
Thanks for having me.
You're welcome. Leanne is in charge of the enrichment programs in the Rye Neck School District. What is enrichment? Can you elaborate on that?
Yes, enrichment it's very multifaceted, and it's something that it's not happening just within a classroom or outside of the classroom or the beginning of the day, end of the, it's happening throughout the district in a variety of ways.
You have the 5 core classes that you take, and then this is you say incorporated in the curriculum as well as during elective periods, as well as even maybe after school.
Yep.
Okay. Can you give us an example?
Everything from in our youngest building, K through 2, we have a program right now that's running at lunchtime called Noon Pursuits, and students were invited to choose something that they were interested in investigating, whether it's, story and STEAM, where we're matching fairy tales and STEAM science experiments together, or Puppet Playhouse, where we're creating puppets and learning storytelling through puppets. There's, something like that. We also have a Wonder Studio in at Daniel Warren, and that involves everybody in the school. Every class comes once a week, and we're all, as a school-wide, studying a topic. Like right now, we're doing architecture and really taking a deep dive into that, really kind of much deeper experiential opportunities. That's just at Daniel Warren. Mm-hmm. As you go further up to Bellows, you have an idea lab, and you have seekers and solvers, and you have literary magazines. And again, further up into the middle school, robotics and different things that are woven into the classroom. And then at our high school, it's really where it kind of explodes. There are so many diverse opportunities for students to become engaged, either especially independently. There's an independent learners program where a student presents a topic that they would like to investigate, a true project base where they have an idea and they research and work on it. And it could be an initiative in the community. It could be just, it could be science-based. It could be, design-based, whatever you can imagine. And they see it through fruition and make something happen. So that's very independent, very student-based.
Can you give us an example of a senior level project?
What one of their projects?
Mm-hmm.
We've had students who have written books. We have had students who have connected with county leadership and wanting to work on a community-based or even a county-based issue, and kind of got into politics, basically, and just wanted to solve a problem through something like that. And we have Linda Costello, who is our our librarian at the high school, who is guiding each of these independent projects. Mm. And then they're presented at the end of the school, and it's a real deep dive into so many different topics,
But they have autonomy. They decide what they want to study, what they want to pursue,
Absolutely.
what their interest is in. That's amazing. That's
Right.
wonderful. Yeah.
Yeah. And we've also had enrichment experiences at the high school. This is one of my newest and favorite ones that we've done. And it was, again, it was brought to us by a student, a high school student who was a junior, and working with the STEM department in the high school, working with their teachers. The students came up with an experiment night and invited the youngest elementary students. So, I mean, it was so multi-layered and so multifaceted. But again,
so
student-driven, inspired, but also inspired by their enriched work in the classroom, the deep level dives that they get to go on in their classroom and their coursework. That coupled together was something that they created to offer to and get our younger students excited and hands-on and projects, and that happened. It was a special evening.
That's
Yeah.
so wonderful. I feel like there's a lot of that goes on in Rye Neck. I feel like there's a lot of student-driven ideas and opportunities, and they do kind of mesh often with the younger kids in elementary schools. And
Yeah.
so I think that's a really special dynamic that your school has.
We're really proud of that.
Well, thank you so much, Leanne, for being here. We so much appreciate it.
Okay,
Thank
thanks
you for
so
telling us
much.
about the enrichment program in Rye Neck.
Thank you.
Thank you.
you.
Cyndi is actually your title is
Theater teacher and director.
okay, and in Rye Neck in the high school. So thank you for being here.
My pleasure. Thank you for having me.
Yes, you want to tell us a little bit about your theater program?
Sure. We have a very unique special theater program in Rye Neck. We have a curricular program. We offer beginning, intermediate, and advanced acting, beginning, intermediate, and advanced theater tech, a musical theater class, and a chorus class, as well as drama classes in the middle school. We also have full-scale productions twice a year at the high school level, one at the middle school and one at the elementary level as well.
And are these electives or is it part of the curriculum?
So for the middle school, they're sort of electives, but a lot of students are placed into drama. So I see the majority of the middle schoolers, and because of that, I have a great feeder program up to the high school. So it is an elective, but we have many students in the classes, and I teach theater full time, so there are enough students in the program to keep me full time as a theater teacher, which is very special. But we also have an extracurricular program as well after school.
One of the beautiful things about Rye Neck is that your middle school and your high school are in the same building, so you get to see them all.
Yeah.
Yeah. Your theater programs have won some awards, I hear?
In 2023, we won the Metro Award for overall, which was very special. That was for our production of Anastasia. And our students have won Roger Rees Awards. We are one of the top 25 schools for the School Theater Educational Association, which is awesome. And, our students participate in the Eastern Student Artist Guild, which happens to be a program that I founded for Plays Without Music. Our students go on every single year. We have a handful of students that pursue BFAs. We love having our students participate in these programs. And every time we do, we seem to get kids that win, which is nice. Which is cool.
Rye Neck is being like a little bit smaller than some of the other schools in the area. Do you feel like some of the kids get a better chance of being in your shows because you have not as many kids? Or
in a way, we have over 150 kids participate in our productions for both cast and crew. And for being a small school, I think our percentage of students that participate in the program is quite high. We have about a quarter of the school participate in the musical, which is awesome. But for some other schools, that might not be the same percentage. I mean, but it gives me a chance to really get to know a good portion of the school population. And because we are Rye Neck, we're very close and tight knit, and it's it just makes our community very special.
What kind of things do your kids maybe go on and pursue after high school, if you have any good success stories?
Yeah, we have, again, like I said, we have a number of students that go on to Bachelor of Fine Arts, which is like the coveted degree. We have a number of students that, even though I'm relatively new in the district, we have a number of students that have graduated in years past that are working professionally. We have students coming back to kind of talk to us about their successes. And I mean, we have a great deal of students that are working professionally. So that's pretty good. Yeah, pretty good outcome.
It is. Oh, well, Cyndi, that sounds amazing. Thank you so much for being here. If there's anything else you want to add to this?
Yeah, I would like to add, we had a student, Ella Gran, who put together a sensory-friendly performance for the first time, which was I think a new idea in Westchester schools. So she recognized the need to provide a performance opportunity for students who were neurodivergent or maybe just differently abled, and for the elderly who might not be able to sit through an entire performance. So she put together this sensory-friendly performance of Grease. It was the full production, but we made sure that it was limited lights. We didn't use loud sound effects, and we only had a piano. We did our transitions in semi-blue out, so it wasn't very scary for the younger kids in the audience. And that's something I'm very proud of, that our district supported, and I was able to support our student who had an idea and an initiative, and we were able to support her. So that's a very proud moment of mine for this year. Just working in a district that supports an idea like that is awesome.
I don't even know this girl, and I'm proud of her. That is a fabulous thing.
She worked together with other students as well, but she was definitely the.
I hope she continues to do wonderful things like that.
Yes, me too.
Yeah, good. Well, thank you again, Cyndi, so much for being here and for sharing with us on the Sound Shore Family Guide. And thank you so much, Cyndi.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for sticking around, and I hope you enjoyed hearing from all of the administrators from the Rye Neck School District, and from hearing about Jamie's experience here in the district as well. And now, Jamie, we would love to know what your tip for all you people out there that are maybe moving to the area or don't know, what would it be?
Sure. So parking can be a little tricky sometimes at Rye Neck. So one tip I have, and I hope my friends on Johnson Place don't get mad, you can park on Johnson Place and you can cut through a little wooded path and get to the baseball fields, the football fields, the lacrosse fields much easier than searching for a spot on campus.
You heard it here. Thank you, Jamie. I appreciate it. And for all you listening and watching, thank you so much for staying with us, and hope you enjoyed it.
Visit lmcmedia.org/family guide to get more information and find other episodes. LMC Media is a nonprofit media center. Follow us on socials at LMC Media Center and subscribe to our YouTube channel at LMC Media Productions to see more content.